Hi, I'm Brianna. I'm a care student. I'm currently a senior and I'm studying abroad in Florence, Italy. Now come with me to ask other care students about their experience here in Florence. Hi everyone, I'm here with Anissa today. Anissa, if you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
So like Brianna said, my name is Anissa. I'm currently a senior at FSU studying neuroscience. And some involvements of mine around campus are the pre-medical frat, FIDE, the medical response unit, MRU. I'm also involved in Healthy Notes, which is a pre-health education organization, and I'm also a care student.
Can you give us a little bit of a background on what CARE is?
So CARE is a organization for first generation students, and they also have some different programs that you don't have to be a first generation student to be part of, but I'm part of the Summer Bridge, which is the first generation student program, and basically they just give you guidance through your college career as first generation students. A lot of students who do go into college don't know the details, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know, the pathway that they should be taking, and CARE gives you a lot of resources to give you some education on that, and they also provide a lot of workshops, a lot of group activities for you to build a community on the campus and to learn more about FSU, more about the college lifestyle, budgeting, stuff like that.
Perfect, thank you. So we are in Florence, Italy. Why did you exactly choose to study abroad here?
So I chose Florence for one main reason. When I studied abroad, I wanted a new experience. I wanted something different. I didn't want, to have like similar classes that I was taking in Tallahassee FSU, and a lot of the classes offered here in Florence are more art-based or writing-based, and so I decided to come here for some more art-based, artistic classes like photography or like architecture, and also because Florence provides, the city is your classroom, so in all of our classes we're out in the city, we're looking at things, or we're doing projects in class, and then we go out in the city and we're able to see those projects that we've done in class in real life, and we have a better background and understanding of the process it took and why they chose maybe this artistic vision or why the photographer took this picture in this way. So that's why I chose Florence.
Coming back to like the CARE program and all of that, how has CARE in a sense helped you with like the budgeting?
Every semester we have some requirements that we have to do, and it's just basically take care requirements are what they called, and they're requirements that we have to take that further our knowledge of what they provide on campus, things that we, depending on your major, can seek out on campus that can help you with your future career and things like that. And we also have a meeting every semester with one of the advisors. And so my idea to study abroad came from one of the meetings I had with our advisor, Dr. Brown, and he was mentioning how some students in the previous semester had studied abroad, and as a first generation student, it was not something that I had considered because the money wasn't there, and I didn't know how I would have been able to study abroad, and also I've never actually been out of the country. Mine is going to see family in my home country, so it was never an idea that I had considered. And after he did talk about that, I seeked some more sources through CARE. So through my meetings with Dr. Brown, he provided me with like some people I could reach out to, and he also provided me with an event that they had. It was a study abroad event, and it was previous CARE students who had studied abroad, and they came in and spoke on their study abroad experience, financial, social, every part of the study abroad experience they came to talk about. And it was also a Q&A type of panel, so all the students there asked a lot of questions, mainly on budgeting. How were you able to afford this? How did you select your program? And so that was one of the biggest moments that I decided, okay, like I can do study abroad. These people have been able to do it. They've given me so much advice on the things I can seek out. And then in the budgeting aspect, being part of CARE, you do get the CARE grant, and that CARE grant does go towards if you do decide to study abroad, it can go towards your study abroad tuition. So that's also something to keep in mind, that CARE does provide some funds and resources for studying abroad, and they also have a CARE scholarship that you can apply to that is specific for study abroad depending on the semester. You just have to be a CARE student, and then you do the application, and if you're selected, you put those funds towards study abroad. Besides scholarships, CARE also provides like a lot of workshops, a lot of budgeting workshops it doesn't have to be specifically on study abroad budgeting, but they do teach you how to budget for like future life. And I think those lessons that you learn through those budgeting workshops can be applied in studying abroad. And I have applied those because the money, it could be running out really quickly if you don't budget it correctly.
Right. I think it's awesome that CARE has been able to help you by budgeting, but also by being able to show you different resources, like how you mentioned Dr. Brown, how you mentioned this Q&A that happened, and how other CARE students were able to do this. So it is a possibility for all CARE students to go ahead and travel abroad. And so besides the scholarships that CARE has been able to grant you, are there any other scholarships that you applied to? What would you recommend to other students trying to look for scholarships?
So there have been other scholarships that I have applied to. Before I talk about that, I just want to note that all of the financial aid that you get at main campus FSU through the school can be applied to study abroad in some way, whether that's your tuition, your housing, or whether that's through getting a refund and you can use that money to buy your plane ticket or do something else with that money. So all that financial aid that you get, you can find a way to apply it to study abroad. And then outside of CARE scholarships, I applied to a few scholarships that I heard about through some CARE students. So there's one big one, it's the Gilman Scholarship, and that's the scholarship that a lot of students who do study abroad do apply to. It is very competitive, but it is a rewarding scholarship. If you do get it, it does help a lot. I also applied to a scholarship, it's the DIWC, Diversity in Women of Color Scholarship. I think that's the actual name of it. And that is a smaller scholarship. It's about $500, and the requirements are like first generation woman of color.
An essay, I believe.
Yeah, an essay that you have to write. You have to submit a recommendation letter and things like that. And although it seems like a smaller scholarship, any money in a scholarship that you can get to go towards study abroad, take the opportunity, apply to it.
Yes.
Even if it's an essay that's 4 pages, write the 4-page essay.
Also, the smaller scholarships, not a lot of people will apply to them because they want the bigger scholarship, the thing with bigger money, so you have a better possibility of gaining a scholarship from when they're smaller amounts. So it all adds up, and then it helps with the tuition payment and all of that.
Yeah, so like she said, a lot of the scholarships I did apply to were smaller scholarships. So the DIWC, the Tortuga Study Abroad, and they were all smaller scholarships, but like she says, they do add up. And then FSU does provide a scholarship website. It's called FSU For You, and they list thousands of scholarships that the school provides, and you just have to meet the requirements, and a lot of the applications are super simple. You just have to answer 3 questions, or you have to write a 500-word essay. And a lot of those scholarships are scholarships that I got to apply to study abroad. So using the resources that FSU gives you is something that will be super helpful if you're thinking about studying abroad but you're not sure where the financial aspect will come from.
Perfect. Anissa, I think that was really good information in regards to scholarship and where to find them and stuff. I guess my last question for you would be, sometimes studying abroad seems impossible, especially for other first-generation students and students that come from low-income backgrounds. So what advice would you give to another CARE student or a student that has been in a similar situation as you and they're considering to study abroad?
My piece of advice would be, it is possible. It might seem impossible and you're I don't know where the money's going to come from. I don't know how my social experience will be over there. You might even be I don't have a passport. It is possible. FSU provides you with so many resources, and especially CARE. If you want to study abroad, go to the CARE office, talk to someone, they will point you in the right direction. Whether it's to Dr. Brown, whether it's to a previous student who has studied abroad, or whether it's just to resources on the FSU campus that you can go seek out and find out more information on how to study abroad. Use your CARE resources. CARE is always there for you, and CARE wants you to study abroad. CARE wants you to have the college experience, the best college experience you can have. So my advice would be go to the CARE office and ask. You might feel like you're annoying someone. Ask every question you have. Ask, how do I get my passport? Where do I get my passport? Where is Dr. Brown? I need to talk to him. Just ask any question that you have in the CARE office, and they will do their best to point you to either the right resource, a student who has studied abroad and can point you to that right resource, or they will sit with you themselves and help you through either the study abroad application, scholarship application. Like FSU and CARE give you a lot of resources to help you get to where we are right now, studying abroad. So even though it seems impossible and it might seem very, very hard, you do have the resources and the support from CARE to get here.
Perfect. And then I do have one last question. You are a senior, as you had mentioned. Why senior year, and how has that impacted your experience overall? Because most of the people here are in their sophomore, junior years. We even have met some freshmen who are doing their first year abroad. So how has being a senior, one of the oldest people in the program, impacted your experience?
So just so you guys know, I'm not the oldest. Brianna's the oldest person in the program. Just want to clarify that.
Cutting that out.
Being a senior in the program, at first it was a bit everyone's so little here. What am I doing here? But I think that I chose to study abroad my senior year, one, because in my senior year is when I discovered all the resources. So it did take me some time to find that these scholarships exist, CARE can do this, CARE can do that. So that was one of the reasons. And the second reason was I finished my major. So I was like, should I graduate early, or should I use these the refund that I'm getting, the scholarships that I'm getting, all of those to go towards the study abroad experience? And then I decided I want to study abroad. I want to go to Europe. Everyone I've talked to has had the best experience studying abroad. It's something that they always recommend you go and do. So that's why I decided to come here my senior year. And being a senior in the program, at first it's a little discouraging, because you're oh, everyone's so young. I should have stayed home. But once you find your friend group and your people, they don't care.
No one cares.
They're all still FSU students. You're all for the first time experiencing studying abroad in a new place. You're all for the first time experiencing Florence or wherever you're studying abroad in a new light through education. So it's a great experience. I think that it doesn't matter what year you are. If you get the opportunity to study abroad, go and study abroad. You can also, if you're a freshman, you can do the first year study abroad program. Or you can take some core classes in a study abroad program that you'll probably have a better experience taking them here, because you're able to go out and explore what you're learning and see what you're learning. So I don't think it matters if you're a senior. It hasn't really impacted much of my experience, minus I got to take classes that I thought were actually fun. Not actually fun. All my classes are fun, but classes that were interesting and not just for my major or for what I want to do in my future career.
Perfect. Okay, Anissa, thank you so much. This was great. I hope you guys were able to get lots of information. And if there's any questions that you may have, just write them down. Write them in the comments. But thank you so much, Anissa.